A question I get asked all the time is, where should my weight be with this particular shot you're asking me to hit? In today's video, I'm going to clear it up for all swings, all shots. Make sure you check out this video. The top of the backswing, I'm probably closer to 50-50, but look what happens again on the way through. Jon Watts here from the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me in my indoor studio, and today's video is all going to be about where your pressure should be, where your weight should be at setup. We're going to talk a little bit about the swing, but I'm going to talk about mainly the setup with all different shots that we could be hitting. There's so many involved in golf, whether we're putting, chipping, pitching, iron shots, wood shots, and it can be very confusing. So hopefully this will clear up any questions, any concerns you may have. If you're new to my channel and you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up, share it with as many golfers as you can, and if you haven't already, do consider subscribing. Hitting the little bell icon just means you get notified every time a new video goes live. So I'm going to be using here my Force platform as well, so you'll get some live data as I stand on it. So if I just jump onto the mat, this is my right foot, this is then my left foot. So the left side is my left foot, my lead foot closest to the target. And what you'll see at setup there, if I get somewhere near it, is I'm close to 50-50 on the bottom, which is the left-right balance, and then heel-toe balance. That would be into my toes, that would be back into my heels. So I want to be, on all these shots, really quite even from heel-toe balance. I'd like to be 50-50 heel-toe, somewhere close to it. Would be great. Obviously, something this exact, 60s, 40s, 60-40s are perfectly acceptable. You just wouldn't want to see someone 80% one way or another. So on all these shots, the nice thing, the thing that's constant is my pressure from heel to toe. The thing that tends to change is where my pressure is from front to back. So if I just talked about short shots, so let's imagine I'm hitting a bump and run, a chip and run, something along those lines. I'm going to, rather than move my feet, I'm just going to move the ball a little bit. But I would want to see a lot more pressure. You can see 76, 77% onto my lead foot at setup. So shots where I'm closer to the target, putting, chipping, pitching, bunker shots, those short swings, less than full shots, I want the pressure to be more onto my lead side. Chipping would be the most, about 80% over here. Whereas putting, pitching, bunker play, I'd like to see about 65% favouring my lead foot, so somewhere closer to where I am now. So that was chipping, around 80%. If I moved into pitching, that ball's moved a bit more forwards, my stern's a bit more over the ball, and I'm more like 63% favouring my lead foot that's closest to the target. So that'd be a great position from there. I'm going to go through, actually carry on. So I've now got a mid-iron. A mid-iron, I'm playing the ball still quite central like I was pitching. And I want my pressure to be a little closer to even, if anything, slightly favouring my lead foot. So I'd like to be around 55%. You can see I'm probably 60-40 there, but 55 to 60% favouring my lead side at setup, and then heel-toe balance as even as possible there, okay? So I'm slightly favouring my lead foot. Why are we doing that with an iron? We're looking for a little bit more of a descending blow. We're almost covering the ball a little bit more at impact with our chest. Now, that's not suggesting we're not moving towards our trail side and moving towards our lead side, but we're starting a little bit more where we want to finish, favouring into that lead side. The clubs I'd be quite even with, quite 50-50 would be my longest irons, my fairways, hybrids, that kind of thing. The ball's gone a bit more forwards in my stance, and I would want my pressure to be relatively even. You can see that's actually pretty much on the money at about 50-50, left-right balance. And that's where I want to be with my hybrid, my fairway woods is pretty even. The only one club where my pressure is starting more onto my back foot would be a driver. So the ball's the furthest forwards in my stance, up near my lead heel, and I'm actually at setup starting with a little bit more pressure onto my back foot. Now, how do we get that? There's just that little bit of tilt with our upper body. We don't need to push our hips forwards to achieve it. We just feel like our upper body tilts a little bit away from the target. And as I stand there at setup, I've just got just over 50%, 54-ish% favouring onto my back foot. Okay, so the way to think of this, because I know that's a real quick run for you to start through, is the closer you are to the green, the more pressure should be onto your lead foot. As you get into those middle shots, our pressure is going to be a bit more even. Our longest shot with the driver, what we're trying to hit up on the ball, is the only time we're starting with our pressure slightly favouring our trail foot furthest away from the target. On all of those, I like the pressure to be very even from heel toe. The similarities between all these shots is by the time I strike the golf ball, I would like my pressure to have moved forwards towards my lead side. So here I'm at like 80%. So I really want my pressure moving towards my lead side on the downswing. Now, to achieve that and to generate some power from there, what we'll find is the longer the swing, the more the pressure should have moved towards my trail side. So on a very short shot like chipping, so I'm going to hit one, a bump and run, a chip shot, I'm starting with about 80%, something like that, 75, 80% onto my lead foot. And as I swing back, my pressure is sort of staying there and it's increasing as I swing through. So there's very little shift laterally off the ball because I'm not generating power. I'm going for pure control. So I'm starting 80% left and I'm finishing maybe more like 90 odd, 100% left. It's not really, it might have shifted 5% that way, but very little shift off the ball, dictated by the fact it's a very small swing. With a pitch shot, so it'll go a little bit longer, my pressure is more like 65%, hopefully, 60, 65% favouring my lead foot. And if I swing back to here, my pressure is going to end up a bit more even because of that swing length has meant that about 15% of my pressure has moved from my lead side to mean that I'm more even. So I'm starting 65. The top of the backswing, I'm probably closer to 50-50. But look what happens again on the way through. All my pressure moving onto that lead side. Mid-iron, this is a 6-iron. I want to start about 65%, sorry, about 55-60% favouring my lead foot, so that's pretty good there. Now, as I wind up on this one, and you perhaps won't see it until I actually hit the shot, is I would want the pressure to be moving towards my trail side more. Now, that's very different to a big lateral shift. It is a rotation where the pressure's moved towards my right side. And again, guess what happens on the downswing? It's moving towards the target. Now, the reason there's more shift of pressure on this one is we're starting to make a longer golf swing. We're starting to generate more power. So I'm going to go ahead and hit one. I'm starting more like hopefully 55-60% favouring my lead side. And you'll see much bigger pressure shifts. So the white dot on the screen, we call it the COP, the centre of pressure. So that's going to move more to my right side and more to my left side in this golf shot than it was when I was chipping or pitching. Okay, so more shift to the right, more shift to the left. Driver is our only time that we're starting more favouring our back foot, 55-60%, and there's very much the same thing as the iron. We are shifting into our trail side on the backswing, we're shifting into our lead side on the downswing. So although there's some changes at setup there, the similarities are we're finishing on all shots with the pressure more onto the lead side. Putting is the only time where it's kind of starting there and staying there. We don't want a lot of movement, but still favouring our lead foot. So closer to the target, more pressure onto our lead foot. The smaller the swing, the less shift of pressure there is. The longer the shot, the closer we get to even setup and the bigger the movement is to our trail side and trail side to our lead side. So there's more shift of pressure to generate more power. Hopefully that makes some sense to you. I know there's a lot of info there. It might be worth running through just a couple of times. I have done some of the videos talking about ball position, so I didn't want to go into it too much with this, but I will put on there some links here about ball positions with irons to woods, some differences between the irons and woods. This was just talking really about where your pressure, where your weight should be at setup, and hopefully that will help clear up some of those questions you may have. If this video has helped, as mentioned at the start, hit the thumbs up, share it with as many golfers as you can, and please do consider subscribing.